still got a few minutes, but are you waiting in anyone?
Oh, it's a meeting without Brian. He's here with his mask.
We're ready to get started. If all the board members could please make sure you have your microphones on. Ready, Bridget? Okay, good evening. The hour being 6:30 PM on Monday, January 13th, 2025. I'd like to call to order the Brookfield Village Board meeting. Would everyone please join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Bridget, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Here.
Trustee Cote?
Here.
Trustee Hendricks?
Here.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Here.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Here.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Here.
And President Garvey.
Here. Thank you, Bridget. We have several appointments and promotions tonight. The first, I would ask Jim Mihalik to come forward. He's being promoted tonight from lieutenant to deputy chief. So if you could please come up and be sworn in by our village clerk. And if you got any family and friends you want to come up with you, I can order them to come up. Anyone that wants to take pictures, I'd like to have everyone in the picture behind them, and if you want to give your camera to any of these, we have professional photographers on this side of the board that will take, if you have a camera that you want them to use, seriously. Yeah.
I'll take lunch.
And they'll share them with you. But everyone come up close around him, so.
Would you like me to take one for you? Do you want my chair? Come on. Okay.
And look at, Miss Bridget's here.
I, Jim Mihalik,
I, Jim Mihalik,
having been promoted to the office of Deputy Chief
having been promoted to the office of Deputy Chief
in the village of Brookfield,
in the village of Brookfield,
in the county of Coke,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of Deputy Chief
the office of Deputy Chief
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Well done.
But you got to stay up here for a picture.
No pictures, Chris. No pictures.
If you want to, you could actually turn around and face the audience, and we're going to do the pinning actually in a minute. I know you're ready to stick them, but we're going to give them a... I'd like Jim to introduce his family first of all, and then you guys can take some pictures, and then Chief wants to say about a half hour's worth of stuff, so.
My wife Sharon, my daughter Molly, my daughter Lainey, my daughter Josie, my daughter Sydney, Aunt Noreen, my nephew Sam, my father-in-law Dan, my sister-in-law Karen, my mother-in-law Betty, Ann, and my nephew Jack, my parents, they're online.
Wave, everybody wave. All right, take a few pictures.
Okay.
All right, if you could all stay up here for a few minutes. Chief, you want to say a few words?
I promise not a half an hour. I get a lot of looks when I'm told to, wrap it up. Good evening, President Garvey, Village Board of Trustees, and everyone else here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. This is a really, I know, proud moment for Jim and his family, but for me and for our department as well. It is such an honor to be able to sit here and see Jim be promoted to Deputy Chief. He has over 21 and a half years of service to the Village of Brookfield with very deep ties to the community. He was born and raised here for 27 years, and he continues to have family connections. Throughout his career, Jim's built a legacy of loyalty, hard work, humility, fairness, and kindness. He's never one to seek the spotlight. He's often told me that his greatest satisfaction comes from supporting others, whether it's our officers, and certainly I feel just so blessed to have him in my corner, always helping in any way he can. Even as of late last night. His leadership is rooted in operational excellence. He's got a deep commitment to this community and a passion for professional development. I asked him, tell me something that I can share with the board and the community, and he said if you were to define his career, he said he would tell you that it centers on three things: supporting the youth in our community, providing education and training for our staff, and mentoring the future leaders of the department. These priorities speak to his heart of character and his vision for a stronger and better department for the future. So Deputy Chief Mihalik, this promotion is not just well-deserved, it's a reflection of the respect, trust, and admiration you've earned from all of us. I know you're going to continue to inspire and lead this department with the passion and integrity that you've brought right up until this moment. So congratulations.
I always offer you the opportunity to say things, but I heard you didn't want to say anything tonight in general. But if you wanted to, you could. But
I think if I could say anything, I'm appreciative of my career thus far. I've always felt like I've had support from my supervisors currently and those that are here now, from past chiefs, and I've always felt comfortable within the village, support from the board, and I really think we have a good police department and supportive community. If I had to say one more thing, and I tell my wife this all the time, but you can't do this career without support at home, and she's my #1 fan.
and now we could have your #1 fan pin you, stick you, the Deputy Chief pin. There we go. Congratulations. You could sit down if you want now. Thank you all for coming up. Next, I'm going to ask Brian Jelinek to come up for his promotion from detective to sergeant, and if he could bring his crew up also.
Oh my goodness.
It's a big crew.
The more the merrier. come on up. Let everybody get in. If anyone again wants pictures, Bridget, hold on a second. If anyone else wants pictures, give your cameras to any of these people over here, Trustee Gilhooley, Nicole or Katie or.
Yep, thank you. Yep.
Everybody got to kind of get in.
Sure.
I, Brian Jelinek,
I, Brian Jelinek,
having been promoted to the office of sergeant
have been promoted to the office of sergeant
in the village of Brookfield,
in the village of Brookfield,
in the county of Cote,
in the county of Cote,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of sergeant according to the best of my abilities.
the office of sergeant according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
All right, guys, you saw the deal.
Like, do anything.
Favorite color? Favorite color? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And the next one, everyone. Okay. Same thing, if you like to, everyone could turn around and face the audience, I'd like Brian, Sergeant Jelinek now to introduce his family and friends.
My wife Caitlin, my son Owen, my daughter Olivia, my mother, my father, my sister, my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and then my nephews and nieces.
Well, thank you for being here, everyone. And again, Chief wants to say a few words. Now, you got to stick up here a little bit longer. Oh, you want a different color? We'll sort out a different color.
Congratulations,
What color is it?
Sergeant Jelinek. He is a cornerstone of our department for over the last 13 and a half years. Half of the last 13 and a half years he's served here, he's been a detective for us. In that time, he's been a part of every major case that has, unfortunately, but we've had to deal with here in the village. Most notably, we know handling hundreds, if not thousands, of hours for the Michael Smith homicide, Erica Thompson case. Brian's pursuit of justice and just the dedication is just something that's unparalleled. And it goes beyond just those cases. He's received the Cook County Valor Award for his extraordinary efforts in finding a missing elderly woman who had a stroke and was found under a bridge in Chicago. A needle in a haystack kind of a find, and that was incredible with his partner over here. Sergeant Jelinek's expertise is unmatched. You've investigated several felonies, many felonies. He's been a supervisor of our local major case assistance team, South Suburban Task Force, and his credentials from detective, juvenile officer, evidence technician, arson investigator, crisis intervention team trained officer, lead homicide. It goes on and on. So not only is this well deserved, but well overdue. Sergeant Jelinek has proven time and again that he's an exceptional leader who's going to serve this department in ways that I'm sure this is probably only the beginning. So well deserved. Congratulations, Brian, and welcome.
Sorry, before I ask if you want to say anything, was someone unhappy with their color choice of suckers? No, you sure? I just want to, because I heard someone wasn't, they could trade. I'm not going to give them another one. They could trade. Okay. Sergeant, did you want to say anything? Or I don't want to put you on the spot. Okay. So you get away with it. I'll let you get away with that, but we now are going to have the pinning. So if you'd like to pin on the sergeants. He's got to get stuck. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for everybody coming out. I want to recognize, as always, the police and fire commissioners members for coming out, other members of the department, both departments coming out as a show of support. You are all welcome to stay. We have a very exciting village board meeting tonight, but if you'd like to go somewhere and celebrate, we would understand if you just gather your things up and leave. So I'll give you a minute if you want to stick around, or if you want to, we'll give you a minute if you want to gather and get your stuff together.
They were all here for the fee adjustment.
It's kind of like a party for a few minutes.
Okay, I think it's gonna, we'll give them another minute or so, but I think we'll, and we have one more appointment or reappointment, and, sorry, I let everybody leave before that, but it's still a big deal. We appreciate, so at this point, I'd entertain a motion to reappoint Susan Rohner to the Brookfield Beautification Commission for a term expiring January 24th, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Kaluzny, second by trustee Gilhooley. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the reappointment?
I have several comments, if that's okay at this time.
Please.
I just want to thank Sue for her service so far on the Conservation Commission and then the Beautification Commission, and then wanting to do more Beautification Commission, so thank you for your service to the commission. If you've all seen the beautiful planters on Grand in the spring and in the fall and the summer, those are all designed and by Sue, and so it's just been a really nice, beautiful addition to the community. So we look forward to moving those to the shop, the new shops on Brookfield, and designing those again this year. So thank you for returning and for all of your contributions to the commission.
Anyone else have any comments? All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Sue, if you can come up and be sworn in again. And I want to thank you also for agreeing to continue to serve. As Katie noticed, you've done a lot already, and we appreciate you coming on for more.
Raise your right hand. I, Sue Rohner,
I, Sue Rohner,
having been appointed to the office of Beautification Commission
having been appointed to the Office of Beautification Commission
in the village of Brookfield,
in the Village of Brookfield,
in the county of Cook,
in the County of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
I will support the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of Beautification Commissioner
Office of Beautification Commissioner
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
You brought your glasses. Right there.
I'll take a picture of you signing it, too.
And I noticed, I was going to have people come up with you, but you could still get a sucker. Would you like a sucker? Take one home. Thank you.
Congrats, thank you. Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you get the same gift. You could stick around if you want, but you can go celebrate also if you would like, or get ready for your next meeting, because I know you have a lot of meetings. Thank you, Sue. All right, that ends the items we have on our appointments and presentations. I will now open up the meeting to public comment. Is there anyone on this side of the audience that has any public comment? Okay, seeing none, is there anyone on this side that has any public comment? Okay, hearing no public comment, we'll move on to reports of special committees, please. Trustee Cote?
We have two warrants this evening. The first warrant, I'd like to make a motion to approve corporate warrant dated December 23rd, 2024, in the amount of $494,564.51.
Second.
The motion to approve the corporate warrant for December 23rd, 2024 was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Kaluzny. Are there any highlights or anything you want to point out, trustee Cote?
No, not on that one.
Okay. Do any board members have any questions or comments related to the December 23rd warrant? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I would like to make a motion to approve corporate warrant dated January 13th in the amount of $3,292,987.82.
Second.
The motion to approve the corporate warrant from January 13th was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Kaluzny. Anything there you want to point out?
Yes, normally warrants are over a 2-week period of time. This is covered in a 3-week period of time, hence it's going to be a little bit more. But also on this warrant, it covers a $1.2 million bill for construction done from Dubois, we're going back through that one again. Dubois all the way to Creekside Park. So all of that work being done, that $1.2 million, out of that was a $5.7 million project, of which the federal budget gave us $2 million. We had a share of 1.2, which is this one. NWRD also paid over $1 million towards it. And we are hoping that we are going to get a reimbursement from contingency funding. So it should alleviate our total expenditure from 1.2 down to around 900 and change. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Cote. Do any board members have any questions or comments related to the January 13th warrant? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
In regards to DPW, instead of just bringing to light certain projects that are happening right now, I did want to bring out something that happened over the Christmas holiday. A few weeks ago, temps dropped down. We were down in the single digits. It was frigid outside, and we had a water main break. And we had several crew members, Travis McDonald, Corey Trickle, Sean Deegan, and Jimmy Suero, I think is how you pronounce his last name. They worked all night in single-digit weather minus the wind chill. Wind chill is even colder. But they worked in water-filled hole to replace and fix that over a weekend. And many people may not realize it, but they were without water for a good 12 hours. They were told later that you're going to have to run your water, et cetera, to clean it up because of the water repair. But it was frigid outside. It was really cold for these guys, and they were in there getting that work done to make sure that our residents are taken care of. So when you see our DPW workers out there, nod your head to them, tip your hat to them, say thank you, but most of all, please have some patience with the work that they're working on, because you never know what they're dealing with and what they're doing for us. But I just wanted to point that out, the hard work that they did. I found it amazing. I was blown away that they did that. They stayed all night in frigid temperatures. And going in and out, they had protective gear on to go into the frigid water, but they had to rotate in and out. So they had to go take time, keep them warm, and taking turns going in there. And they were dealing with carving out bedrock. So it wasn't an easy task that we can bring out an excavator. They had to go down there and hand chisel away. So it was hard work for them. I just wanted to say thank you to those gentlemen. You are totally appreciated. As always, though, if you see issues in town, the best method for passing that information along is via the C-Click Fix application. You can download it on your phone, or you can do it on a computer. And if you don't have a computer, you can go to the library to borrow one of their computers and go to the village website, and then you can put in your call for that. Speaking of the library, they have a lot of upcoming events. You can best find out what's upcoming for them through their website. If you are in need of assistance of food, we do have 2 food pantries in town. The Share Food, Share Love is open tomorrow, every Tuesday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. They're also looking for help and volunteers. So if you're looking to do something for the greater good, please seek them out for volunteer opportunities. In regards to veterans, the Veteran Assistance Commission of Cook County offers help for veterans who need help with making rent, mortgage, electricity, and gas bills. You can go to the Cook County website, choose Veterans Affairs, and you can find out more details there. Or you can go to the Brookfield website, go to Community, and you'll see links towards the VACC there. That concludes my report.
Thank you, trustee Cote. Trustee Gilhooley, Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, the Chamber of Commerce met earlier today. They, just a few points for them. A reminder that they are accepting new members, always accepting new members. You can go to the Brookfield, or the website is brookfieldchamber.net. You can sign up. There's a button right on their homepage. They welcome for-profit businesses, non-for-profit organizations, and even individual residents of Brookfield. So if you'd like to join, all the information is there to sign up. It's really easy. It's such a really wonderful group to be part of, and as you know, they're very community-oriented and community-minded organizations. So if you'd like to get involved with events and supporting and raising up small businesses, it's a great opportunity. They have an event coming up. It's the Valentine Senior Social. This will be Sunday, February 7th at a new location. This will be at St. Paul's Church, which is right on the corner of Grant Avenue and Park Avenues, so 9035 Grant Avenue. It's from 1 to 3 p.m., again on Sunday, February 7th. They will be serving a light lunch catered by Tischler's with beverages, games, music, a raffle. And they'll also, as usual, give out wonderful goodie bags to all of the guests. The event is limited to 120 people. There's a $5 fee. You can pay right online, or you can email the chamber, which is just info@at brookfieldchamber.net. They also have a new thing this year. They're going to do a little white elephant gift exchange game. And you can contact Chuck Hitzman for any information on that, 708-485-2000. Actually, both Chuck and Danielle Hitzman are organizing the event. They're also looking for chamber members to come and either donate something for the goodie bag for the seniors who are invited. There's so many great things you can use to both promote your business and to support the seniors from Brookfield and our surrounding communities who attend this. So if you have something that you want to donate to the goodie bag, or if you have a coupon to your business, please contact them. They really want to make these bags something exciting and fun for our seniors. So if you'd like to attend the event, again, it's $5 from 1 to 3 p.m. The doors open at 12:45. And I missed this. The new piece is the White Elephant Exchange, where you bring a small wrapped gift between $10 and $20 in value, anything you have in your home already. And bring that with you to the event if you want to be part of that game. It's not required to attend the event, but you can register via the website or email the chamber to get your tickets. And they generally do fill up, so get your tickets early. We all know that, right? And then finally, the next meeting is Monday, February 10th in the basement of the library. And that ends my report.
Thank you. You're right. That's always a great event, and I'm glad you emphasized the doors open at 12:45, because
Yeah.
people will start lining up at noon either way, but they like to be on time. But it's a great event. Thank you to the Hitzmans and the Chamber for doing this. Trustee Hendricks, anything on planning and zoning?
There was no December meeting for planning and zoning, but their next meeting is the 23rd in this room.
Thank you. Trustee Ketchmark, Administration, Economic Development?
There was, first off, on the Economic Development Commission, there was no December meeting. There will be a January meeting this Wednesday at 8:15 a.m. Right here. There will be discussion, continued discussion on the banner program. Beginning discussion on the review of the Village of Brookfield logo. We've talked about that a little bit in the past. Update on the Shop Local gift card program. And then continued discussion and updates on the sponsorship for the Brookfield Shops. Brookfield Shops project is moving along rapidly. The vendor applications are online with the due date of January 30th on that. We already have several applications in. The juror applications are also online, so if you know someone who would be interested in being on the jury and selecting the vendors, that application is online. Those will be chosen in February. There's been 2 information meetings so far. First one was pretty well attended. Second one wasn't quite as well attended, but the presentation is online, so if someone wants to see it, they can look online for that information. There's one more information meeting, I believe, next week. And sponsorship letters went out to all businesses looking for sponsors for the sheds. So watch over the next month or two, things are going to be happening even quicker over there. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Ketchmark.
President Garvey?
Yes.
I made one mistake. I think I said February 7th is the meeting. It's February 2nd. Sunday, February 2nd is this Valentine's Senior
Okay.
Social.
Okay, I actually wrote it down based on it, so I appreciate you. All right. Trustee Narimatsu, Parks and Recreation?
Couple of upcoming dates to note. The registration has begun for current families for the Tots Prep Preschool, and registration begins for new families on Monday, February 3rd. There is an open house this Saturday, January 18th, from 10:30 to 12 at both Rec House and Water Tower locations, so you can meet teachers and see the facilities. And then summer camp registration opens on Monday, March 3rd at 9 a.m. And then on Wednesday, January 22nd, at 6 o'clock here at Village Hall, there is the next open house for the Community Center feasibility study, and that's here at Village Hall. And then finally, just wanted to note that the village received a $600,000 OSLAD grant. I'm not sure if this was already announced at the last meeting because I wasn't here, but there was a $600,000 OSLAD grant granted to the village for the Creekside Park project for Phase 1. So that's really exciting, and just want to thank the village staff for doing all that work to write that grant and secure those funds. And the next Parks and Rec Commission meeting is on January 21st at 6:30 here at Village Hall. And that ends my report.
Thank you very much. Trustee Kaluzny, Conservation and Beautification?
Yes, the Conservation Commission last met on December 3rd, and their next meeting is not until January 28th at their new time, 6 p.m. And wanted to note between now and then that they are holding an education program in conjunction with the Brookfield Library on Thursday this week, the 16th at 7 p.m. Just a little bit of Q&A and understanding about lead line replacement, so learning a little bit about the policy from the state, what we're doing here in Brookfield, and answering folks' questions, talking a little bit about the health and wellness pieces of that as well. So thank you to village staff and village engineer for getting some great details together for that event, and the commissioners for putting together some of that content as well. They should be having more education programs with the library this year as well. The Beautification Commission met last week. They talked about their the Holiday Decor Award winner that was advertised last week. They had some really cool reused and recycled, reclaimed materials to make their decorations in their front yard, so super cool. And we look forward to making some additional awards like that in the coming year. I wanted to note that Project Nice has its date secured for May 17th, which is a little later than usual this year. So wanted to make sure folks were aware of that. We're going to try and do some plantings on that day as well, because it'll be hopefully warm enough to do planting and cleanup. Just knocking on all that to hopefully make sure that works out. And just wanted to note again that the planters that were on Grand Boulevard, which because of the construction happening on Grand this year, we were able to move those to the shops at 8 Corners, so excited to reuse those during that construction. Their next meeting will be March 4th at 6:30 p.m. here at Village Hall. That ends my report.
Thank you. That was a brilliant move, mentioning Project Nice and like the coldest day of the year to remind us that
Yeah, it'll be warm one day.
Spring's going to be here before we know it, so thank you. In terms of my reports, with Brookfield Zoo, we had one of those perfect weather nights in between Christmas and New Year's on a weekend where traffic got a little heavy at the zoo, but again, I think the new methods that we've done in conjunction with them and the Southgate reservation system and the communication, I received several texts and calls, and our staff was completely on top of it with the village staff, tried to minimize the traffic concerns, and I think it went really well that night. So it happened one time over the holiday season, and it's not like in years past where we had our residents really shut out of some of the neighborhoods. So we really appreciate the communication between Brookfield Zoo and our departments. So the Solid Waste Agency and WCMC have not met since our last meeting, but there is an executive board meeting of the WCMC tomorrow morning that I'm a member of the board. I'm really trying to make it there as soon as I can get out of court, but otherwise I'll give an update at the next village board meeting about the WCMC. Okay, that ends the reports of special committees. At this point, I'd entertain a motion to pass the omnibus agenda as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Was it trustee Kaluzny? Bless you. Motion was made by trustee Kaluzny, second by trustee Ketchmark. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Now, moving on to the items under regular business. The first item, I'd entertain a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the execution of a local public agency engineering services agreement by and between Edwin Hancock Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Gilhooley, seconded by trustee Narimatsu. This is for the Grand Boulevard Brookfield Avenue Surface Transportation Project. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item, I'd entertain a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the execution of a local public agency agreement by and between the Illinois Department of Transportation and the Village of Brookfield.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by trustee Kaluzny, second by trustee Hendricks. Any questions or comments on this resolution? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item, I'd entertain a motion to pass a resolution for change order number 1 of Phase 1 of the 2024 lead service water replacement project in the amount of $145,300.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Narimatsu. Rocco or Tim or Derek, anyone want to just explain? We have this change order, and it's, I want to just, we have a couple of them here. Just want to explain, maybe in summary, what they're all related to. Derek Tricolor, our village engineer, is going to summarize the next couple of items. The board members have memos on it, but I'd just like the public to know what's happening.
Sure. So as we have 4 projects. We have 3 standalone lead water service replacement projects, and we have a water main replacement project that also encountered some lead water services. We have, the next 4 items are 1 change order each for each of these projects for additional lead water services that were observed out in the field. And in general, when they are excavating a pit, it's usually about 7 foot by 7 foot, they've encountered another tap on the water main and previously identified as copper, but it shows up as lead. So we're taking care of those and adding those as we go. We did share this with the IEPA. They've authorized approximately $700,000 in additional funding, which is a loan, a 0% interest loan. But they've authorized the funding for these additional lead service replacements. And one last thing, they asked us to put it all, rather than putting piecemeal change orders for just what we have so far, they asked us to project what we thought we'd have. We have about 100 more services left to do this year. So these aren't these quantities are not based on where we're at today. They're based on where we project we'll be by the end of the project.
And obviously, the benefit of doing this way is the contractor is holding the original excellent price that we got, and because we have the funding available, we're able to do this without starting over, opening the ground and doing it again, so.
Yeah, exactly. And again, our goal is when we leave these blocks,
Not
they're
have to
all
come
gone.
back.
Yeah, a little easier to track.
Okay. I appreciate staff bringing this forward at this time. As you know, we gave our best guess as to what was underground, but when you open up the ground, you see so. But these resolutions are necessary. So we have a motion and a second on the first one. Can we have any questions from the board related to that now?
I have one more question, just in case I get asked at the library event this week. So when they were looking at doing the inventory inside the homes, it looked like copper, but then getting out into the field, it's just that connection maybe was copper, but the rest of it was not.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, and if it gives us a comfort level, there's been about 21 out of 700 that were identified inside as copper, but actually turned out to be lead as a private service. Some of those were identified as copper inside, and the public service change, that means they probably had their service replaced in the last, these are 80 to 100-year homes. But yes, what you said is correct. Identified visually inside as copper, and about 3% have turned out to switch, that they actually are, it was a short piece of copper hooked up to lead after it got through the concrete floor.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Is there a methodology, for lack of a better term, of metal detecting where it would give a different reading? If it was lead versus copper, if you were to go over certain areas?
Not that I know of, and I think you're referring to where they sense it from above ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it senses the lead and the copper. I've heard some rumors about, Vince and I talked to one of the contractors about, they had a sonic type of method where they send a sound through there and it comes back at a different speed for different materials, but I'm not aware of a lot of other communities in the area that have done it, and it was pretty costly. It was more costly than digging up out in the field, so we
And
chose not to pursue
It's,
that
it's not visible from the B box, is it? Unless you excavate?
unless
right?
you excavate.
Yeah. All right.
Just one, the $700,000 from IEPA, that covers all of the change orders, is that, I didn't do the math.
It does, and I know the math is, the change orders for more than that, there's our loan had a 3% contingency, so between the contingency and the change order, yes, covers all the costs.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, we do have a motion and a second on the first change order, so I'd ask for a roll call vote on that.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Again, thank you, Derek. The next change order, entertain a motion to pass a resolution for change order number 1 related to Phase 2 of the 2024 lead water service replacement project in the amount of $359,605 to Five Star Energy Services LLC.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Narimatsu. Any questions or comments on this change order? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item, I entertain a motion to pass a resolution approving change order number 1, Phase 3 of the 2024 lead water service replacement program in the amount of $266,300 to Five Star Energy Services LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by trustee Narimatsu, second by trustee Kaluzny. Any questions or comments on this change order? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And the last related one, I'd entertain a motion to pass a resolution for change number 2 of the 2024 water main improvements project in the amount of $150,500 to Suburban General Construction Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by trustee Kaluzny, second by trustee Hendricks. Any questions or comments on this change order? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And again, thank you, Derek. The next item, I entertain a motion to pass an ordinance authorizing the supplemental statement of work between the village and Municipal GIS Partners Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Kaluzny. Tim or Steve, you want to just tease what this is? This is some additional work that we're doing through the GIS project, which has been very exciting, the things that we've accomplished already, but we have a chance to do some additional work.
Yes, thank you, President Garvey. MGP, or Municipal GIS Partners, is our GIS provider within a consortium. 39 municipalities, I believe, are part of this consortium currently. They provide our GIS support services, and they were scoping and vetting a new business module with that consortium model for municipalities in 2024. The village volunteered at one of our executive board meetings to help vet the scope of work for this business module. They were attempting to investigate a little further. That resulted in us getting 2 analysts to support in business solutions and efficiency process, automations, digital forms within an environment we already have purchased and own, which is Microsoft 365. They focused on this business module of Microsoft 365 because as many more capabilities, automations, forms, communications, tracking, that can be utilized rather than going out to purchase additional softwares from other companies who might be able to provide some efficiency services. So we worked with various department heads to identify some processes within each of their respective departments to see if we can utilize Microsoft 365 as a solution. We identified a number of different projects. Those are highlighted within the memo that has already, staff has already seen the benefit of. Liquor licensing was an example utilized. Previous and historically, we used paper processing for new liquor license applications as well as renewals. It's very cumbersome to review all of the information required and submitted, both for the business owner and for staff. We rolled out this new digital liquor license renewal process. It cut staff's dedication to that project by at least half, 50% reduction of staff time. And then the survey results also provided in the memo as an attachment. Business owners were very happy with the change as well. Some of them even citing up to 4 hours of saved time for that renewal process. We are still taking that feedback to make that a better process continually moving forward. But that's just one example that MGP has provided us. In 2024, because we were a guinea pig of sorts and trying to vet out some solutions. There was no cost to the village for this work, for the execution of work, and for the support in identifying ways to make it better. Moving into 2025 and getting closer to them identifying base model for this module, they did focus groups with a number of different municipalities, village managers. Our village manager was asked to be a part of that focus group as well, to contribute to the thoughts, the concept of the consortium piece of it. And what they came out of it in December was a base model for this business module solution. We do need to opt into that if we want to pursue some additional projects we've identified that we have not gotten to yet. And speaking with directors and their staff, I think we are seeing the benefits in what we've already done. We want to continue moving that forward. Most especially, one of our goals and identified in strategic plan is unsiloing all of the various platforms we use and kind of consolidate it as much as we can and take advantage of the services we're already paying for and capitalize on those. So we're excited to continue projects into 2025. Again, department heads have already identified some exciting things they'd like to do. So we do need to opt into the supplemental statement of work for this business module with MGP.
Thank you. The whole GIS, I mean, I remember we just started talking about it and moving towards that, and then the steps we've taken already and just adding on these additional services, we've come a long way in this stuff. Trustee Ketchmark, things have changed a little bit since way back when in terms of some of the things. And just the simple, like I did get calls and thank yous for the new liquor license process, saving business owners valuable time, and I know it saves staff time. So these are just some incremental improvements that just really help. So thank you for bringing this forward. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the ordinance. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, the last item we have is a motion to adjust building permits and other cost fees. So I'd entertain a motion to pass that ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by Trustee Kaluzny, second by Trustee Narimatsu. During the budget process, staff brought forward some different initiatives and increased fees and revenue ideas. And based on the feedback and the discussion at that meeting, we have before us an ordinance to kind of incorporate what was discussed at that meeting. Is there any summary? Tim, did you want to provide at this point a brief summary? I mean, I know the board's familiar with the budget process and the memo we have, but if you'd like to summarize. As always, I just want the board has, familiar with this because we discussed it and we have a memo, but I'd like anyone that's interested or watching or present tonight to know kind of what we're doing. So I'll turn it over to Libby and Michelle at this point, if you'd like to summarize kind of what the recommendations were based on the feedback from the board.
Sure. Let me just get the PowerPoint back up.
Yeah, the PowerPoint was up and it disappeared.
There we go. So yes, at the budget workshop, we presented some fee increases, given that Brookfield hasn't done any fee adjustments in the last 6 years, since about 2018. In that, we researched other comparable communities and looked at what would be fair and equitable, and what also aligns with current industry standards as well. The board had some additional questions and concerns about that to make sure that it was fair across the board and that it was comparable to other communities in the area. So we went back to the drawing board and reviewed it and have now presented an additional fee adjustment. So the increase, we haven't had any increases since 2018. The main general permit fee will remain at the 1.75%, and that was one of the concerns that the board had at the budget workshop. So that's staying the same. It's consistent across the board with what other communities have. We are requesting to adjust the minimum permit fee to $100 to match the other communities. Specifically, we looked at Riverside, LaGrange, and LaGrange Park for that. We're also looking to incorporate a plan review fee that's also consistent with the other communities, and then to adjust specific permits to a percentage-based fee structure instead of just flat fees. Any questions?
Board members, any questions or comments?
I have a question about the plan review fees. How many hours would projects typically need of that? How much is it going to bump up the fees for those projects?
So I anticipate, I anticipate smaller projects like a fence, for example, or a driveway to be at a half-hour increment. Larger projects like a garage, an interior alteration, I'd imagine those would still be at the hour time rate, which would come out to $100 fee, which is very comparable, if not less, than all of our neighboring communities in the research I've done. When Libby came to me with results of the budget workshop, and she said, well, you know, they're concerned about that 2% increase. And I said, well, I just can't figure out financially how these other towns are maintaining with that 1.75. So I dug a little deeper, and I found that every neighboring community charges plan review fees. Some of them are, you know, $200, $300, $750. Very distinct fees for specific items. And I thought, if we could capture some of that and have that become part of our building permit fee, that would account for our staff time, for our outsourcing time. I counted approximately 600 permits in 2024 that would have been eligible for plan review fees out of our 1,600. That's about, if we charge each of those at the minimum, the 0.5, half an hour, that's about $30,000 in lost revenue, and revenue that we're paying to BNF Technical Code Services, or paying Jordan for review, or myself for review.
What do you think might be the maximum that you would, maximum fee, the maximum amount of time for a big project?
For a single-family house, you could be looking at 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
And those can go up. Sometimes architects have to do resubmittals. But the larger scale projects, like a new home, for example, or a very significant addition, as well as a commercial remodel, those are sent directly to BNF Technical Code Services. And we've made arrangements with them on our plan review processes for them to bill directly to the architect or the developer. And that's how our process has been going since I started. I made that policy change rather than the Village of Brookfield being the middleman, so the financial obligation could be between the two parties. So I don't anticipate any changes really in regard to that, because those pass-through fees are going to remain what they have been. This would be more for in-house fees that myself, Jordan, or if the BNF inspector is on staff that day in-house doing a review. Otherwise, I don't see that plan review is going to be a very significant add-on fee.
That makes sense. I appreciate that. I wonder only if we could try to communicate to residents as much as possible that these fees are there and where they might, what sort of range they might be, so that when
Sure.
people are trying to budget for their projects, they aren't surprised by this.
Sure, that's reasonable. I think that we could do a review and come up with a standard amount of time that we think that these plan reviews will take. I don't see that being a hard ask.
Or even giving tips or advice or clarifying the process so their documents require less plan review if they know ahead of time what's required. I think sometimes people unintentionally just, well, I want to get something in, but if they know ahead of time, if it's complete, it's going to take less plan review and less time. It might help reduce the out-of-pocket
Absolutely.
expense to them. I know we've done that in a lot of other areas and streamlined our processes and the information available ahead of time, informational sheets. So I think that would kind of go towards Trustee Hendricks' point of minimizing the surprise fees or surprise impacts.
Absolutely. We currently have checklist processes for each permit type that list off the items that we want submitted, and we're currently working with Hancock Engineering to work out a new development process and packet for all multifamily and commercial developments, just to give to developers in advance to help them understand the items that we're looking for specifically on plan review, items that a developer may not be aware of. You know, maybe it may be just a specific note that we want seen on our cover sheet for a commercial review. Now they're going to have all that information in advance, so that our hopes is providing them all this advance information will then possibly eliminate one entire review on an engineering side.
Great, thank you.
The plan, sorry. The plan review, though, we'll have a list of things that would trigger that outside review, so somebody doesn't come in saying, I'm going to put up a new fence, so I'm going to pay a $100 permit fee and a $100 plan review. They'll know that they're not paying $200 to put that fence in, correct?
So the plan review fee for a fence, for example, that will always be an inside review fee. That's something that we do in-house, so I would never anticipate that a fence would be a full
No, but as an example,
review.
that should be clear, I mean, it should be absolutely clear to anybody submitting. That's what I mean. So if you're a resident and you want to submit for something, like say you want me to pay a permit fee and a plan review fee, so it would behoove us to make sure that it's abundantly clear
For sure.
that you're not paying double. You're not going to pay a $100 permit fee, then a $100 plan review for something that's only like, a $500 project.
Correct. I anticipate that the majority of the fences would fall in the 0.5 increment of a plan review. So I think that would be a $150 permit, which does align actually with all of our neighboring communities. We are only higher than LaGrange, and that's by $10. Otherwise, we're less than all of our neighbors, and with that set of standards for plan review.
Trustee Cote, do you have something else?
I'm not a big fan of this item. I just don't. When I think about it, if I'm going to put in a shed and the shed is like $500, and now I'm going to kick over another $150 in permit fees to the village for a $500 shed, I just think that's almost to the point where I'm just going to put the shed without going in for the permit. I don't want to be that prohibitive either. And so I understand that there's a need or a desire to have a minimum cost to associate for the manpower spent towards things, but at the same time, taking in consideration if a project's like $600 and they're going to be paying $150 to $200 to the village to go through the process of it, I'm just not a big fan of that part. Sometimes I think it can become cost prohibitive. I understand what the need is, I understand what the desire is, I understand what the basic concept is, but, on smaller projects, when we start getting into that, I mean, are we then telling them, if we're going to charge you $100 for a plumbing, fix, $100 for, to fix a couple planks on your deck? At some point, they're going to do it on Sunday when we're not looking. That's how that happens. And I don't want to be cost prohibitive for people to do upgrades and not additions, the additions is a whole different, but upgrades or fixes and repairs as well. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm not sure if I think that this is the answer.
I understand your concerns regarding that. I can clarify that regular maintenance or routine maintenance on systems typically does not require a permit. For example, replacing some decking on a fence or on a deck would not.
But it says
A few
repair.
boards on a fence would. A new accessory structure like a shed, you're right, you are correct. We want to increase that to the minimum permit fee of $100. I've got LaGrange Park, which is very similar to our community. Their sheds are $175, not including plan review.
I understand, but on this sheet, it says installation, repair, or replacement. And so if we're going to start triggering this off of repairs, I understand there's certain repairs that you need to have a look at, like if you're going to do an HVAC repair, that's different, because now you're dealing with electrical and everything else like that. But for me to fix the railing on my deck, and I'm going to pay $100 to the village for that, I mean, that's how it feels it's coming
Let's
across.
clarify that. If maybe it's just the wording of the fee that's listed that's concerning you. If someone comes in to replace a railing on their fence or their deck, are they going to need a permit for that?
For a minor repair, no. However, railings are a
Railings are on
fairly
here.
large building code item in relation to height and changes throughout the years and meeting code compliance for resale. So a deck, a railing on a deck would probably require a building inspector to go out and do a review to make sure it's.
To make sure
proper
it's the
height.
same height. So the
No,
railing, you
the
used the
proper
example of a
height.
deck board earlier. If someone's replacing a couple deck boards, that's not going to generate.
But it's not, it's not that clear in this. It says repair, installation.
But in the scenario, and I'm just trying to clarify, in the scenario where someone comes in, you usually use the deck boards, someone replaces a couple rotted deck boards. Do you need a permit to replace rotted deck boards?
No, sir.
No, but you do need a permit to replace railings because there's
A code.
code as
a
to the
code
height
concern.
and the width of the spindles. I'm kind of familiar with this because I paid for one of these recently. So the height and this, you know, that type of thing. So in terms of an individual basis, they're not charging for anything. They're not going to require permits for any repairs that they don't already require. This isn't doing that. If it's permits required, there's a minimal fee is what they're trying to say.
I just don't think it's that clear in this. I understand what you're saying, but I just don't think it's that clear.
But I mean, it's not changing that part of it. If it wasn't clear before, it's not clear. The fees that they would charge, if you need a permit for,
I understand.
okay. I'm just trying to clarify. So anyone else have questions or comments?
I don't remember if I'm misremembering this, but did someone make a video about how permits work in Brookfield? Yes? And it was like, here's how permits work, and you need to get this and this and this together for these types of things. It was actually a pretty fun video for permits, if I remember correctly, but maybe there's, something that is more like that is easier to digest than, for a resident than reading this full piece. So if it could be a clarification piece for repairs and replacements, then
Absolutely.
maybe.
That's a great idea. As I've been doing my research and looking at other communities and trying to compare, it's not always apples to apples. Some towns may charge based on square footage. Some towns charge incredible bonds that the homeowners have to put up. They have inspectors who take pictures before they do the work, after they do the work, at $75 a cost. So I've seen all sorts of different scenarios in different communities, but one thing that I came across multiple times was what is excluded from a permit requirement in this community. So I think, speaking to your concerns, Trustee Cote, if we were very clear on our building page stating the following items do not require a building permit, and something like a repair to a deck, a minor repair to a boiler or hot water heater, items that are just routine maintenance would not require permitting. And it could be more clarified like that on our website for sure.
And I think, as always, just the note that if this isn't clear, you have a question about your specific project, just call and get the answer first.
Absolutely, we're always very available.
Right.
Additionally with that, and maybe we had the screen up there, so the plan review fee goes along with which permits?
So just those which require plan review, for example, an interior remodel, an addition, a deck, a shed, a garage, items that require structural review. At times, I could anticipate that a fence could instigate that type of review. You're all familiar with the love of fences and how challenging that can be in a landlocked community. So occasionally, a simple review such as a fence can take a significant amount of staff time, including multiple staff inspections. But fences, like I said, fences would, but an item like a roof would not instigate a plan review fee. Windows would not, would not require the fee. Anything that is a basic over-the-counter type permit, we would not be charging that plan review
So
for.
what we've been discussing here, it seems like it should be real clear that if there, because on those items, there'll be a permit fee for the fence plus the plan review. So it should be really clear that when someone looks up, oh, it's going to cost me $100 for the permit. Well, no, it's going to cost you more than that. It's $100 for the permit plus plan review fees. So that should be clear in there that they realize it's not just $100.
I think that it's also on a case-by-case basis. A simple fence across a driveway, for example, I'm not going to state that that's taking up my staff time to do that review. However, if it's going around the entire property, I've got concerns about height, neighboring fences, location, site restrictions. If those type of items come into play, that fence would then
I understand, but I mean,
instigate
we're
it.
pushing people more to, look online and look things up and
Sure.
that. So it should be clear that it could be, it probably is, it may be more than just that permit fee,
Sure.
plus applicable plan review fees or
as
something.
needed.
Right.
And state what the rate would be. I mean, I agree with all those points that it should be very clear to the resident when they're starting a project, what they're doing. And then there's the learning curve of adding this on. But, Michelle and Libby brought up the point when they brought forward an original proposal and there was some feedback from the board. And, Michelle explained how, she looked at how other towns are getting by with the 1.75%, fee-based cost that we're going with. Because the goal of this is to, sustain the department, be able to pay for what we need to do and to offer the services so it can be done quickly. As she explained, the 1.75%, other towns do that, but they also have these other fees. And the example of, what LaGrange Park would charge for some of these things, it's a balancing act. So, we can say, we're uncomfortable with some of these things, but it's paying for these things. This isn't bonus money. It's paying for the things that we are providing and residents need or want. They might not want permits or inspections, but we, as a policy decision, we have to have those, so. Other questions or comments from the board? Was there anything else in your presentation or was to go forward, or was that?
I think the main point that I wanted to make was just that we were trying to, in a whole, keep our 1.75, align with our neighboring communities on plan review to cover and offset our own fees, and then raise the minimum permit fees, those fees which were $50 up to the standard of $25, which is very customary across the board.
Okay. Libby, do you have anything else to add?
No, Michelle pretty much covered all of it. The only additional point I wanted to say, we do try to go out of our way if someone comes in for a fence, for example, and I've seen that, Michelle's seen it far more than I have, but just this past summer, there's a lot of hand-holding that goes on with that. So sometimes the initial plan that's presented isn't what it's supposed to be, and we kind of go back to the drawing board. So I do agree with Trustee Ketchmark and Cote in terms of making sure that we express that to the residents up front so they're comfortable and so they know that there might be an additional fee for that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board related to this? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the ordinance. A roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark.
Aye.
Trustee Cote.
No.
Trustee Hendricks.
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu.
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley.
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the time on that. That ends the items we have under regular business. Tim, you have anything with the manager's report?
Yes, thank you, President Garvey. Just a couple quick items. We've just concluded our holiday season, and I'm here to announce one more holiday for January. and that is January 20th for President's Day. Village offices will be closed, so please make a note of that. And second of all, it's already been referenced, it's cold outside. I think we're gonna get some snow. Please, to the public, pay attention to when we get 2 inches of snow, the 2-day parking ban goes into effect every day of the week so that our Public Works Department can plow the streets to the curb. We have alternating parking in effect, so please pay attention to that. And we'll get the streets cleared off a little bit quicker. So thank you very much. That is it.
Thank you. That ends the items we have on the village board agenda. So at 7:38, I did entertain a motion to adjourn the village board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Gilhooley. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, the board meeting's adjourned at 7:38. We'll start the committee of the whole meeting shortly. Thank you.